Hello, thanks for checking out this video. So South Park's second episode came out, and hopefully you got a chance to watch it because it is hilarious and it did not disappoint me. I thought it would be, and it was pretty good. So 2 episodes into this season so far, I think this is possibly going to be my favorite season of all time because the first 2 episodes so far are like awesome. And specifically, I like in the first episode, the thing I liked the most was the commentary on just people sort of mentally checking out and getting into Christianity as a way to sort of deal with, being overwhelmed with what's going on and stuff. And then in this episode, just the theme of, the master debating college girls and how Cartman, sort of representing Charlie Kirk, was used to kind of mock grown men that are, doing this. And I know a lot of guys that are like in their 30s and still watch like the Whatever podcast and sit around watching like these guys, these older guys. Even like I remember guys watching Ben Shapiro like years ago, like teeing off. That guy was in his mid 30s and he was debating like 20-year-olds. It's ridiculous. And they're selecting the most obnoxious ones and then editing out all this any fails that they have, because all of this stuff comes from like think tanks ultimately, right? So just South Park really mocking the whole industry of what it's become of this rage bait stuff. So, and in the way that so many people just sold out for money, like so many people, and that the only people that really exist now at a certain level of like podcasting and stuff up and on the right at least, it's all AstroTurf stuff, like Tim Pool, guys like that, right? Like I don't believe that they would ever be successful if they weren't just getting paid by really rich people to toe certain narratives, and they're just willing to do it where other cooler people probably wouldn't. So yeah, Charlie Kirk is also super annoying because of the stuff he says, because he obviously has bad genetics, and then he'll obviously criticize a lot of women that he debates for like being liberals with bad genes and stuff, and like he's not somebody who should talk about having like good genetics or good features, Just as a side note, something else I picked up over the years of just getting to know a lot of people on the right is there's this odd correlation I noticed where like the people who are most concerned with getting into religion so that they can like continue their legacy and spread their seed and all this crap are usually like, they're not genetic specimens. Let's put it. They usually have like an appearance deficit, and they're just not like good genetic specimens. So it's funny because they're worried about the purity of their race often, but then they want to make sure that they reproduce when they themselves are kind of like not the best and brightest, which would ultimately have like contribute to a dysgenic effect on their race. So that's kind of funny to think about. Anyway, new South Park I think is awesome. I think it shows you why satire is so important in culture and one of the most effective weapons you can actually have, even politically. Like people could learn a lot from South Park, right? I was 12 when that show started, and my parents just hated it when I'd have it on TV, and because it was so crude in every way, and it really is. In most ways, I can understand why people would think it's a lowbrow thing, but over the years it evolved into this sort of social commentary that's unmatched, and their ability to criticize things when other people can't is really important, right? And so, I don't like Stephen Colbert either. I don't follow him. I thought he was a hack. But I also think that the Trump administration, like having their buddies fire him for political reasons, is a slippery slope, and I am very curious to see if South Park, my prediction is they don't get fired because it's just too messy to fire them, but I would like to see like what would happen if Paramount ultimately fires them, and then it becomes another legal battle, because from a public perspective that would be horrible PR for Trump, even worse than just putting up with the mockery right now. But again, this just demonstrates how proper satire done well is like one of the best weapons that you can wield in a culture war. And the right are like for various reasons just are not good at art. Doesn't correlate with their personality profiles or their values, right? So they usually always lose out to the left when it comes to like producing good art, which is propaganda in and of itself, right? So that's just interesting to think about. So I'm curious to see what people are thinking about this show. I want them, here's my thing, I want them to really fucking call out Joe Rogan. I hope they do. And the UFC and the MAGA MMA brosphere thing. I really, and like Rogan, like rebranding tech billionaires on his show and stuff like that. I hope that they in some way like just shit all over him this season. So that's my prediction, is that these are my predictions for the future, that they shit on Rogan, ultimately don't get canceled, and that this season overall is probably going to be their best season. So if you're a fan of comedy on the show, let me know your thoughts. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video.